Town Square Media Station. WTUG HD2 Northport. And W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9. And streaming on the Tide 100 Town Square Media Station. WTUG HD2 Northport. And W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9. And streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pick it, and our running back coach didn't take it. biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with National Championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning, gang. It is a beautiful Friday morning. That means it's a free-for-all Friday. We're live, local, and ready to get things going. Thank you so much for getting up and Adam with us and joining us on the radio airways at Tide 100.9 and on the live stream available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Martin Houston 35, at Martin Houston fan page, X and O Sports. Amongst the others, including MaX Sports. This is the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports with Martin and Xavier. We're glad to have you as a part of the program. Remember that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Oh, man, it's a free-for-all Friday, so there's a lot that we can get to. We can review things that we may have talked about early in the week. X, when you were out on Wednesday, we had a little would you rather comparing quarterback combo with the defensive coordinators of times old and recent quarterbacks. We talked about having an elite offense versus an elite defense. Which one would you rather have? And we even talked about having an elite quarterback with a serviceable running back or an elite running back with a game manager at quarterback. That was just part of Wednesday's conversation. We got into it a little bit, but we also can talk about what's happening around the SEC in terms of media days. Lots of different conversations we can start and get your thoughts on who will be picked the SEC East and who will be picked the SEC West. The East is kind of foregone conclusion, but is it up in the air for the SEC West? Did Brian Kelly do enough last year, return enough this year, get enough love in the offseason that he may be the favorite to win the West? And, will Alabama, they won the first ever West Division title. Will they put a bookend on it and win the last SEC West title as next year the schedule goes away? Who will be picked to win the SEC? Will it be any other team besides Georgia? Will the media all pick the easy pick, the darling pick of Georgia to win it again? So we'll talk about that. We can talk about what you think other topics may be. We're probably going to be some of the same. NIL, transfer portal, gambling, scheduling. That's always the case. Who has a unique topic that you may think may pop up over at SEC Media Day? So you're welcome to bring that in on a free-for-all Friday. We'll go through the schedule here in just a moment of the SEC media coaches and their day in appearance, X, and kind of be thinking, which day is going to have the most drama? Which day is going to have the most highlights? Are there any stories? We had the whole big Saban and Jimbo thing last year. Really hadn't had a whole lot of coaches at each other in this offseason. So, what's going to be the big stories coming out of SEC Media Days? We're going to talk about it. But hey, then there's several other things happening around the capstone that we are going to get to. And we'll start off with that. Quinnen Williams yesterday, 96 meal. You think he's going to eat for a little while. Quinnen Williams X. Talk about that contract that Quinnen Williams got, the largest ever for a second-year deal. And quite a bit of it guaranteed.
Yeah, when you look at Quentin Williams, he is now the highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL. Cool thing is, Deron Payne is the third highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL. But Quentin's deal, as you said, 96 million, 66 over 4 years. Congratulations to him. Just got married, just had a little girl. What a better way to celebrate those things shortly after. Definitely deserved. He's a guy that, when you look at it, Aaron Donald's at the back end of his career. Is Quinn in the top 2, top 3 detail, and he's getting paid like it. So I think the Jets really believe in him and what he brings to their team. Him and CJ in the middle of that defense. Why not pay the man?
Yeah, and when is Alabama going to have that next Quinnen Williams, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne defensive lineman? Do we have one of those guys on this year's team, or will we have that type of breakout? I think Tim Smith has a little bit of that in him, but I don't know that he's been used as effectively as he could be. So it would be nice to see a Tim Smith have a breakout season and be that next guy that kind of holds the banner for Alabama defensive linemen. You had some news you wanted to share regarding Josh Jacobs?
Yes, Josh Jacobs, of course, just finished his rookie contract with the Raiders. They didn't give him a 5th year last year, so he became a free agent. That's happening. Running backs don't like to play under the franchise tag. They have short careers, injuries, down years, anything can happen. And this is off of the tails of him leaving the NFL in rushing yards. So the man wants to get paid, and he's not going to risk his body or anything. So he'll be holding out during the beginning of training camp at least, still trying to work through to get a long-term deal done. This is his second contract, and so this is the big and usually the one and only big money contract that running backs get. So he's going to be sitting out until that gets done, or just to save his body a little bit through training camp and end up playing this 1 year on the franchise tag.
Oh man, I hate the franchise tag. Everybody always says, "Man, they're going to get paid. They're guaranteed to be in the top paid." As one of the top paid players in their position. I said, yeah, but they don't have any contract that if they go down during that one, and to me, that's wrong. I think the franchise tag is wrong. I just don't think a team should be able to lock you in for a year. It pretty much gives them the ability to lock you in for a year. If you get hurt, they don't have any skin in the game, versus you could go somewhere else and get a multi-year deal, because Josh Jacobs, even though running backs aren't as much of a have to get as far as draft and things like that, but when one's proven for that second year deal, that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th year of a running back career, which is kind of their prime, they have to get paid, and people would pay a pretty penny for Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs is one of the top running backs in the league, and should be paid accordingly, not just franchise tagged accordingly. So it'd be interesting to see if this is a holdout I'm not going to play, or this is a holdout. I want you to think I'm not going to play. I hope he doesn't end up sitting out for a year. But if I'm the new coach, they have a new coach in Las Vegas. Who's coaching Las Vegas? No, they got Tom Brady. Tom Brady as an owner. That's what the big change was. Do what?
I think I think Josh McDaniels is back for his second year.
I was thinking about I knew it was a big change. Tom Brady is now part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. So maybe Tom can put some common sense in the owner's head and say, hey, guys, we need to go ahead and pay this guy. Another quick note, as we kind of bounce around the capstone, Nate Oates. Yesterday, Nate Oates came out. Nate Oates was out in Vegas. Speaking of Vegas, having an opportunity to visit with multiple guys has to be good for Nate Oates and the Bama basketball team when you got 5 guys playing at a high level in the summer league.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about how many coaches can say they've got 5 guys currently playing in the summer league, playing in the league at all, and the fact that all of his guys are young guys still on the come up. He's got a total of 6 because of JD.
Yeah.
I don't know if I saw a picture with JD or not. Having 6 guys in summer league, several of them being first rounders, and getting the opportunity to show that back to the guys that have already committed and coming out and saying, hey, this is where you can be, and to all of the recruits is really big. So it's a bit of a flex for Nate Oates and the Alabama Crimson Tide when it comes to the recruiting trail.
Yep. So kudos to him. And then, hey, listen, former Alabama point guard JQ makes a commitment. What do you think about him committing to play for Memphis and Penny Hardaway?
Hey, he's trying to make a name for himself to get to the league. This is year 6, so it's already a little bit of an uphill battle, but I think it fits for him getting to play up under Penny Hardaway, who at one point was one of the best point guards in the league during his time. I like the fit. I really hate to see JQ go at the end of the day. Really loved watching him play in the Alabama Crimson Tide uniform, but best of luck to him, and kudos to Memphis for getting a really talented.
Yeah, you remember not last year, year before, how Alabama was playing really good, and then they played Houston, barely won, and then the next game, I think they played Memphis, and they struggled from that point on the rest of that season. I don't know what Memphis did to them, or if maybe it was jet lag from Houston, but it was an interesting impact after that. We can talk more about that if you want. The JQ to Memphis is a good fit, I think. I think he'll give him some options on the 3-point that he didn't have a lot of last year. Memphis, Penny Hardaway is probably one of the better coaches and X's and O coaches in the country. So hopefully that'll help JQ as well. Come back on the other side. We'll keep the conversation going right here on your home for Alabama Sports, Tide 100.9. This is the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty quiet on the roadways on this Friday morning. We drive carefully, and if you see conditions, give me a call. $6,000 instant savings on select vehicles, plus rates as low as 0%. Plus Townsend Nissan's free lifetime powertrain warranty. Go see BJ and the gang. I'm Captain Ray.
If you fish the Friday night tournaments at Lake Tuscaloosa, stop by the North River Outdoors, now open on Highway 43 North in the old North River Marine location, and replenish your tackle with name brand soft plastics, jigs, crankbaits, spinnerbaits, vibrating jigs, swim baits, top water baits, shaky heads, hooks, and weights. North River Outdoor also has a great selection of name brand rods and reels to choose from. North River Outdoors now open in the old North River Marine location on Highway 43 43 North in Northport. Soggy Bottom Lodge in Linden, Alabama presents Donate for a Difference, benefiting the autism community of West Alabama. Soggy Bottom Lodge will be hosting a weekend of fun. It all starts on Friday, July the 14th with a Donate for a Difference poker tournament. And then on Saturday, July the 15th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., there'll be family fun, including kayaks, fishing, inflatables, a petting zoo, and much more. There'll be live music starting at 1 p.m. from Sweet Tea Trio. The cost is $20 to park and $10 to enter, with all proceeds going to benefit the autism community of West Alabama. Bring your sunscreen, your folding chairs, and whatever you need for a day of fun. There will be lunch tickets for $10 and snacks and drinks available to purchase. Cash or Venmo only, please. For more information or to reserve your spot in the Friday poker tournament, call 334-295-5430. That's 334-295-5430.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Cloudy at times today with a few passing showers and thunderstorms through the evening hours. The high today 90, tonight's low 73. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with scattered showers and storms, mainly during the afternoon and evening hours. The high 91. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 75 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. We're glad that you've chosen to be with us this morning. If you need any support or any interaction with us, I should say, just give us a call, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. You can always add your thoughts and comments on chat, and we'll work it into the conversation. Hey, don't forget about the great folks over at Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, value, and the biggest cactus in town. Been doing it for 40 plus years and counting. They'll do you right. Go see Taco Casa, tacocasa.com. All right. As we were talking about JQ and him heading up to Memphis and Penny Hardaway being his new coach. Penny Hardaway, I believe, is one of the better coaches in the league. I think last year they took us to the wire, right? Let me see what that score was. As Alabama played Memphis, 91-88. Close game, really good game, but they had 1-3. And we only beat them by 3. Means that they take a lot of 2-pointers. They finish at the rim. So there's, you see what I'm saying? So he may bring an element to their team that they haven't had, but he'll also be one of those where maybe he'll learn instead of floating the jelly up there, he'll pull up and take a shot that's open in the mid-range, because Penny definitely knows how to get those types of shots. So any thoughts on that, X, before we bring Allen in?
Yeah, I mean, that was a hard-fought game, and the fact that they scored 88 points while only hitting 1 3 is insane. About their mid-range and the end shot, that is extremely impressive.
Yeah, 88 points with 1 3. So they got 85 points against a really good Alabama defense. And they did it with free throws and 2-pointers. So he will add an element that they've not had with his 3. And then, of course, you'll see what he's able to do with the ball in his hands. Alan, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
He'll be a good fit up there at Memphis. The turnover machine. JQ. He's learning from the best. Before Penny Hardaway got hurt in the NBA, he was one of the best point guards there was.
Yeah.
So he'll definitely learn up there with him. I still say he's nothing. But at the end of the day, I still say JQ ends up in Europe in the European League. I don't see him making it to the NBA, but who knows? I wish him the best. But the turnover machine. Oh, I mean JQ. He'll learn a lot from little Penny up there.
Yeah, and Alan, I guess the question I'd ask you really quick is, do you think that the fact that they have a little more variety to their offense versus drive and get to the goal or drive and kick to the three will cut down on the turnovers? Because you have to think that when were a lot of JQ's turnovers when he was out dribbling out around the three, trying to get a three, or trying to get to a drive, versus Penny's offense, where I think they put the ball in the air and movement a lot more, and they don't create as many driving lanes to try to get to the goal per se, because their offense also has a lot of bodies and activity inside the three. So it makes it a little more crowded from an offensive standpoint. Because a lot of times JQ would drive and he get in there and he had that jelly move, the jelly finger roll, but when he couldn't finish it, the only place he could go was kick out to three. And you and I knew where Alabama liked to line their threes up. So if he didn't have the ability to finish strong, did that contribute to his turnovers, and could that in and of itself reduce them?
I think so. Also, he also knows that at this particular point in his career, he knows what it's going to take to get to the NBA, and I believe he'll do a lot of stuff that he needs to do to get there. He'll do a lot more listening. I mean, like I said, who was Penny Hardaway was one of the best when he was up his game.
Yeah.
Lil Penny, with Chris Rock, Lil Penny in the commercial.
Yeah.
So this year it won't be all about him scoring and doing all this. He's gonna get out there and do what he needs to do to get to the NBA, and he's gonna do it by listening to him. But like I said, I still believe he'll be a top rated. He'll be an all-star over in the European League in 2 years. And my last comment before I let y'all go, I saw an article yesterday about the most underrated players in Alabama history. I've got so many of them that I can't even begin. I would like to hear you and X's opinion of y'all's top 3 underrated players ever to play in this era. I mean, I'm not gonna go too far back for X, but in this era.
He probably know more than I do, though.
Okay, well let's go back. Let's go all the way back to the 92 when you the championship game, the championship in 92. The most underrated player that played Alabama. I'd like to hear y'all's opinion on that.
Hey, that's a good topic. Do you mind if we kind of spend some time on that and maybe set it up for next week?
That's fine, as long as we can get to my baseball talk during the week also.
You got some baseball talk?
Yes.
The Atlanta Braves?
Atlanta Braves, any of them, yeah. My thing would be, tell me what it takes for us to get O'Shante to Tuscaloosa. I don't think we ever get him. I'm sorry, to Atlanta. I know we never get him there, but it would be something else to see O'Shante there with Acuna and him pitching. Not enough money there, but I would love to see him in a Braves uniform. It won't happen though.
This is a free for all Friday, so and I'm not a big baseball guy. I don't watch a lot of baseball, so not trying. But are the Braves still upset about Freddie getting out of town?
I don't think so. With Olsen being there, and with Freddie Freeman, it came down. I believe the agent didn't do what he supposed to do.
Yeah, he screwed him.
He screwed him. That's why, and Chipper Jones told Freddie, if you don't go ahead and sign the deal during the middle of the season, it'll be too many people trying to take you to the dance at the end of the. It'd be too many people trying to take you to the dance at the end of the season. And sure enough, that's what happened with him and Dansby Swanson both. Both of them had the same agent, and that agent is no longer Freddie Freeman's agent. And Freddie said he didn't get the deal that was offered to him. He never saw it.
Yep.
But as of right now, Olsen is taking over. He'd never be a Freddie Freeman because Freddie grew up came all the way up from Class A with the Braves and being drafted. But Olsen came from Atlanta. He is an Atlanta native. So, hey, and right now he's leading the league in everything, and all the power numbers look like as far as the National League goes anyway. So, we didn't drop off. We didn't drop off as far as, as talent goes and as, and he doesn't have many strikeouts as Freddie Freeman. But the locker room and fan favorite, there'll never be another Freeman.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you. We'll get to that next week.
All right.
Thanks, Alan.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Hey, X, any comments on JQ or the baseball thing as well? CJ, go ahead.
I'm a lifelong Braves fan as well, but watching Freddie from the time that I think I watched Freddie's first game as a pro, and now Drew Olsen's been great, but as Alan said, there will never be another Freddie Freeman from just watching his journey and it ultimately ending in a World Series championship when he helped kind of bring the Braves from the doldrums all the way back to the top. So, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, what I would love to see is I wish the Atlanta Braves of my youth and growing up days was like the Alabama softball team this year or the last 3 years. They had the best pitching in baseball, but they could never get over the hump because they had no bats. They had some of the most dominant pitchers in Madden and Glad and Smokes and that whole crew, man. Glavin, that they were unbelievable, but they had no bats. Now they have bats and pretty good pitching, so it'll be interesting to see.
2 bats during that era.
Do what?
2 bats during that era. It was Chip. They had 2 bats, Andrew and Chipper.
Yeah.
And everybody else was below par.
Yeah, and so that was tough sledding. Remind you a lot of the Alabama softball team the last few years with Montana Fouts and her dominance. So an interesting thing there. CJ Watson, we'll wrap up the basketball conversation. CJ Watson saying JQ to Memphis is a good move for him. If he starts and is successful, it's a high-profile program and market, so there will be no shortage of eyes on him as well as NIL potential. If he can't elevate his game to the NBA level, it's on him, not his situation. I wish him the best and appreciate what he did for Bama. I think that's kind of an interesting, kind of the consensus of the Bama Nation. Blind Squirrel Sport also said, I knew Olsen was going to be all right when I learned who his favorite college football team was or is. He must be an Alabama fan. That's interesting. Olsen is an Alabama fan. Didn't know that. So he's probably pretty good then. So Blind Squirrel Sport asked a free-for-all question. Martin, what are some of your favorite memories of playing in the Iron Bowl? We may address that as a free-for-all Friday or maybe kick that at some point. But that I have some very good memories and fun memories of that game. So I may share one on the other side. But we'll keep the conversation going right here on your home for Alabama Sports. Don't forget to go check out Southmore Design if you're looking for someone to help you with your graphic design, commercial printing, promotional products, and apparel. They'll be glad to assist you. That's Southmore Design, the official outfitter of the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty quiet on the roadways on this Friday morning. Do drive carefully, and if you see conditions, give me a call. $6,000 instant savings on select vehicles, plus rates as low as 0%. Plus Townsend Nissan's free lifetime powertrain warranty. Go see BJ and the gang. I'm Captain Ray.
Hey, Jen, I just stopped in to say hello. Oh my gosh, look how busy it is in here. How did you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't really growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are here for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many Tuscaloosa customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show. It's presented and powered by MaX Sports. But one of our great sponsors is Alabama.and. And Alabama.and, we're making you a winner with the Getaway Giveaway. Road tripping or spending the day on the water, let Alabama.and help you get out of town. Get an auto, recreational vehicle, or equipment loan and be entered to win a weekly road trip, which is a $100 gas gift card, a monthly weekend getaway, $1,000 Airbnb gift card, or one grand prize vacation, a $5,000 magical hint gift card package. All you need to do is get one of those loans today to qualify. Competitive rates, extended loan terms, 60 days, no pay. Go to alabama1.org/2023 getaway and click apply now, or just go to our normal page or stop by one of our branch locations. That's Alabama.and, one together. What's your one? All right. We said, talk a little bit about this SEC media days and some of the normal topics, of course, NIL, transfer portal, gambling, scheduling, etc. But before the media kind of picks their guy or gal, I think the East is kind of a foregone conclusion that Georgia will win the East. But will Alabama book in the SEC conference divisional championships with another win, or will LSU or someone else from the West jump up and take that title?
I think the West is a little bit, I'm not going to say more open. I think it's between Alabama and LSU for the West. Between those two for the West. And I think people are sleeping on Tennessee in the East. I think they really could be the team that gives Georgia a run for the money. Sorry, Blind Squirrel, but y'all done lost a lot 2 years in a row. Tennessee at Tennessee this year, that's going to be tough.
Yeah. And I think that here's the question. Will Alabama once again help Georgia out? I haven't looked at the schedule. I assume it'll fall similar where Georgia plays Tennessee after us. I think not that Tennessee would have beaten Georgia last year, but I think that seeing how they attacked the Nick Saban defense, and Kirby runs that same defense with his own twist to it, I think that gave him a little insight into how to adjust where Saban never did. So I think Tennessee could potentially But if Tennessee beats Georgia, they would turn around and lose 2 games to somebody they shouldn't. Or they'll lose 1 to us and 1 to somebody they shouldn't. So I think Georgia could get in with a loss this year. Even with that said, I know that sounds crazy, but I think that's a distinct possibility. From the West, the LSU love is LSU is the LSU team a legit threat to Alabama, not bookending the divisional championships, meaning that they won the first one in '92, will win the last one in 23. I think it's legit concern because of one guy, Daniels. Is Daniels clearly the best player in the SEC? Is he the SEC player of the year, offensive player of the year? Who you think rivals him for that?
It's just a player, Brock Bowers. But Brock has to rely on his quarterback to get him the ball, and we're not 100% sure how good Carson Beck is going to be doing that yet. I would say he's the number 1 quarterback returning in the SEC. He's a 5th-year guy, and a 5th-year guy due to his COVID season. He'll be, and you don't see. This is a first-time thing.
He's
really
not just a
that.
5th-year guy; he's a 5-year starter, right? He started as a true freshman, I think.
Yeah. So he's played more football than most people ever think about playing at the collegiate level. So I think he's the best returner a long way. I don't really know how much LSU lost. It did come down to the wire. It took overtime. It took Bryce and the defense making some mistakes that they normally don't make to beat Alabama in what was quote unquote a down year. And I believe this Alabama team as a whole is better than last year, even though we're missing some of the superstars off of that team.
Yeah, kind of crazy to think that you could be better coming off of a year where you lose a Heisman Trophy winner and the best defensive player in the country. And if defensive players won Heisman, he probably would have won the Heisman. If we were saying who really was the best player in college football, and Will Anderson. So other than LSU, do you see anyone else threatening Alabama for that title? Who's your dark horse? I guess I would say
Auburn. Auburn's my dark horse. I think Hugh Freeze and some of that Auburn magic will happen throughout the course of this year. That they'll win a game or two that they probably shouldn't win, or on a fluke play or something crazy will happen where they pull out a W. So I think Auburn's probably the dark horse out of the West. Yeah, I'd probably say more so than them. I would like to say Ole Miss, but I feel like Lane Kiffin with his track record is going to do something that's going to cost him a game, and that's going to take them out of contention versus Hugh Freeze will do things that'll win them games. So I'll go Auburn as the dark horse.
And I'm not ready to give. I think Hugh had a bare cupboard, and he's done a lot to try to fill that. But if he gets his team in the running, then he's coach of the year without a doubt. Because I think they're going to be middle of the pack at best. But who should be a dark horse and shouldn't be considered a dark horse, but they will be because of his track record, is Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. They have like their wide receiver room is like 4 or 5 stars. I mean, he has all this talent. He's had 2 really good recruiting classes, had one of the highest rated recruiting classes ever, and just laid an egg last year. Can he get out of his own way and do something and represent the Aggies? And if he doesn't, is this it for Jimbo Fisher? I would make him my dark horse, meaning that if somehow, some way they were to put it all together, they're a talented team. But I don't see him putting it together. What are your thoughts on Texas A&M and Jimbo?
See, the thing is, like, with those recruiting classes, that 2022 class that we talk about being the highest, points total, all that, a lot of those guys are gone. Now, if he had gotten most of those guys back, I might feel a little different because a lot of them played. But losing as much as he lost out of that which kind of affected recruiting in 2023, I just don't know if they retained enough at key positions to be able to compete. I don't see them beating Alabama again. I don't see them beating LSU. I don't see them beating. I think Arkansas can beat them. I think Ole Miss or beat them. Not sure which one.
So who they gonna beat? You ain't leave anybody left for them to beat.
Yeah, I don't think they're that good. They could be, but I don't think they're that good. I think they're towards the bottom of the West again.
And once again, you mentioned last year's class. Last year's class would be a young class. They had a lot of talent last year. They had a lot of talent before the 22 class, and they signed a good class this year. And he's done well getting a couple key players out of the portal. I don't think it matters because he brought in his move to show that he was going to change and give up offensive play calling was to hire Petrino. That over under 5 games in, that will be a disaster. They will be fighting on the sideline. Over or under, will it happen before 5 games or after 5?
That's a good question. It's probably. I'll go.
I don't think it'll make it that long before there's a blow up. I don't even know if they'll make it out of the summer. I don't know if they'll make it out of camp. But Jimbo Fisher has talent galore, but I just don't see him putting it together. But I would say if there's anybody that is a dark horse, which means that you don't think they will, but if it were to all come together, they'd be one of those teams that could do it. That would be one of them. Coming back on the other side, we'll look at kind of who's going to be showing up at SEC Media Days, when, where, and how. We'll talk about that. If you have something you want us to hit before we get out of here on this Friday, just let us know. When we come back, we'll have the Harvest Church 2-minute warning. And I'm going to have to get out just a few minutes early, but X will close things out. We appreciate you being a part of the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports with Martin and Xavier.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things looking pretty quiet on the roadways on Friday morning. Do drive carefully, and if you see conditions, give me a call. $6,000 instant savings on select vehicles, plus rates as low as 0%. Plus Townsend Nissan's free lifetime powertrain warranty. Go see BJ and the gang. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good
Friday morning. Here we go again into the frying pan. A heat advisory in effect for all of west central Alabama until 9 tonight. Heat index values up to 106 degrees are expected in the advisory area. And a marginal 1 in 5 risk for strong to severe thunderstorms across west Alabama in effect between 2 and 8 this afternoon and evening. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's free throughout the day. Don Hertman, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Connecting one-to-one was the support I needed.
I was helped by group therapy. Finding the right physician made a difference in my mental health.
For many, feelings that lead to suicidal thoughts are not just a phase or simply a mood. They're signs someone may need mental health support. Help is available 24/7.
Talking about my true feelings changed my life. Saved it, really.
There is no shame in sharing how you feel. Call 988 and be connected to a trained mental health counselor. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Mental Health.
If you fish the Friday night tournaments at Lake Tuscaloosa, stop by the North River Outdoors, now open on Highway 43 North in the old North River Marine location, and replenish your tackle with name brand soft plastics, jigs, crankbaits, spinner baits, vibrating jigs, swim baits, top water baits, shaky heads, hooks, and weights. North River Outdoor also has a great selection of name brand rods and reels to choose from. North River Outdoors now open in the old North River Marine location on Highway 43 North in Northport.
Foreigner, live in Tuscaloosa. Foreigner is back on their historic farewell tour. November 7th, the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. Foreigner. Special guest, Loverboy. Reserve seats on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Part of the Coca-Cola Concert Series. Produced by Red Mountain Entertainment. It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaX Sports. Hey, great follow X at MaX_recruiting. Before we talk about the SEC lineup and a couple of other questions regarding the SEC media days, anything you need to share or want to share that you're going to be talking about over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some more recruiting news that'll be following over the weekend. Caleb Odom, 4-star tight end out of Georgia, is committing tomorrow. Be on the lookout for some more guys dropping their top 4s, top 5s, whatever, top 10 still for some guys. That'll be a big talk over the weekend.
All right, so follow MaX_recruiting. That's MaX_recruiting on Twitter to stay in touch with what's happening around the recruiting world. Real quick, before we get back to the SEC Media Day, Super Joe has some recruiting thoughts. Super Joe, you're in with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind?
Marty, Xavier, how y'all feeling today?
Feeling good, bro. And you?
All good, man. I'm feeling good. So, yeah, we jumping up in the recruiting. I see, you know what? That's why I never panic when we were like 20 something. I never panic. I see, you know, one thing about this, we're gonna cherry pick who we need to get, and it's gonna raise from there. And before it's over, you know how it's gonna be. We're gonna be that number one recruiting class, sign another number one recruiting class. We know how it's gonna be. And plus Georgia, no, I don't think Georgia's gonna beat us again. No, I seriously believe Georgia's to the point where they're too comfortable, and we're gonna catch them like the Predator. That's all it is. You know, we're just gonna see the heat of their body, and we got them because, you know, it's so many things we had done wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for Kirby Smart, you know, and he's under the Coach Saban tutelage, but guess what? He ain't the legendary man yet. So the best thing to do, I say, like, the Coach Saban still ain't done yet. And be honest with the Coach Saban's gonna be here till he can't do it no more. That's just the way it is. And he ain't got number one boss, and that's Terry Saban. I mean, that's just the way I see it.
All right, Super Joe.
You know, he got up and talked about that he got a wife. He said, my wife sometimes thinks she's one of my assistant coaches. Why did you run this play here? And why did you move that on this down? I said, well, see. See right then and there. That automatically says something. Who's giving Coach Saban the orders? It ain't the alumni. It ain't the athletic director or the president. We know he married to his boss.
All right, Super Joe, we'll comment on that that recruiting comment there. I'll let X respond and give my thoughts on it. And actually, it's them grandbabies is running Nick Saban now, so and I can relate to that. All right, have a good one, Super Joe. Thanks, man.
All right. All right.
All right. Speaking of that, hey, good luck to my oldest grandson who's playing in the College World Series over in Mississippi. And so got a big win yesterday. So,
You said College World Series.
College World Series. I mean, the Little League World. Hey, that's prophetic. I was just speaking prophetic. Yeah. So they're going to move. Two things are prophetic. They're going to move the College World Series to Mississippi, and he's going to be caught. No, just kidding. But good luck over there, Big Bray. Proud of you. Team got their first win yesterday. So wishing them the best. But, hey, listen, X, when you look at it, kind of recruiting note, since Super Joe brought that up, and then we'll circle back real quick on who's going to be over when in the lineup. But Alabama's sitting at number 10. But there's a couple things I always look at. I always look at number of commitments, and then I always look at what's the average, per player. And right now, Alabama's sitting at 10, and they have 3 5-stars, 7 4 stars, and 3 stars for a total of 13 commitments. Georgia, on the other hand, has 3 5-stars, 17 4 stars, 6 3 stars, and that's 26 commitments. So they have double the commitments, but you go over to the average per player, and they're exactly the same. They're the highest at 93.48. The question becomes, will Caleb Odom choose Alabama or Georgia, and will that bump up the average per player? Will definitely have more impact on Alabama if he chooses the Tide.
Yeah, it will. And no, I had some friends worried a few weeks ago about where Alabama was sitting. And I just told them, sit back, relax. This is when Alabama starts rolling the recruits, and that's exactly what has happened. And I think it continues tomorrow with Caleb Odom, and Bama picks up that steam of 5 commits within a week. So it'll just continue to roll from there.
Yeah, and that'll put Alabama sitting at 14 and most likely bump them up a little bit, as right now their total is 244.3, with Texas A&M sitting in front of them at 249.8 with 17 commits. That's the closest anyone sits to Alabama. Everybody above Alabama has 4 or more commitments than Alabama. And Ohio State, Florida, and Georgia having and Texas A&M having 1 5-star, and Alabama having 3. So the rest of the other schools in front of them have no 5-stars. They just have a lot of commits, 26, 17, 22, 20. So don't get worried. Tide will be up there in the top, battling it out with Georgia for that top spot when all said and done. Real quick, X, circle back on the question I was asking about Jaden Daniels. Is Jordan Jefferson potentially poised to be a dark horse, or do you have someone else you think that may jump up and be the SEC offensive player of the year? And do you think it's possible that it could be something other than a quarterback this year?
Like I said, I think Brock Bowers, if him and Carson Beck have a good connection, could end up being the offensive player of the year. Also look at Quishon Judkins out of Ole Miss, the Alabama native. I think he's in a really good position to win the offensive player of the year after his amazing freshman year. last year at Ole Miss. Look at it, when you look at Alabama. I mean, it could potentially be whoever our quarterback is if he has a breakout season. KJ Jefferson and Arkansas is a good pick. I like him a lot. I think it's between him and Daniels as the top returning quarterback in the SEC, and as well as Tennessee's Joe Milton, their quarterback. I mean, yeah, he's got an absolute cannon for an arm. So I think he could be a guy as well. So that's kind of the look around of my head that could potentially win the Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, the lineups for the SEC X Monday, LSU, Missouri, Texas A&M. Tuesday, Auburn, Georgia, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. Wednesday, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Kentucky. And Thursday, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Barring just being a homer with Alabama, which one of those days you most looking forward to see what the coaches have to say?
Tuesday could be good with Kirby Smart and Hugh Freeze. I think anytime you have Lane Kiffin up there, you know, hearing him talk, it can always be something exciting being said. And then Jimbo Fisher, what's he going to say after a down year last year to be able to bounce back?
All right. Hey, I'm signing out. X, you got it from here. Thanks, everybody. Have a blessed, prosperous, and successful day. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not in your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Have a great day out there. Have a great weekend. Come check us out at Harvest Church on Sunday.
All right, that's Martin Houston signing off as we continue.